Welcome. Happy Friday if you're in a time zone where it's Friday. Happy weekend if you're already there. This is the Upstream Marketing Team Working Group. We are going to dive into what's new in that space and share the notes. I'm Matt, if you don't know me already, and we'll just dive right in. Or I guess there's definitely any new people who want to introduce themselves, anything like that.
Oh, hey folks, I'm new. My name is Labana.
Hey.
Hi, so many new faces. I reached out to, I think, Taylor, who's at the rate only DOLE Dole on Slack, because I saw the I saw the repo for marketing contributions, and I was interested in being a storyteller. So he asked me to attend this call. So here I am.
Fantastic. Welcome. You're in the right place and we're happy to have you.
Great. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Great, y'all. All right, cool. So tend to start with kind of big wins, big things happening in the last couple of weeks. We did take last week off. So it's been a little bit longer. I think there's some bittersweet handoff news. Jonas, do you want to give us a heads up?
Yeah, sure. This is just a heads up for everyone. So I talked to Matt and Rajula yesterday. I'm gonna slowly remove myself from the team here because I feel that I can't spend the time that I think the role requires and should have. So I would rather see someone else in this role. So I talked to Rajula yesterday, and he's happy to step up. Thank you so much. Thank you. So we're gonna do a handoff over the next coming weeks here, just to make sure everything goes smoothly. And yeah, just make sure that the role gets the attention it needs. I've got too much stuff at work that I need to focus on right now, so unfortunately, this has taken a backseat, and I don't want that. So. I want to make sure that the right person is in the right spot. Easy as that.
Awesome.
I'm not going far. I'm still going to be in Contribex, but I need to kind of remove myself from this.
100%
in the next coming week. Sorry, what?
100% understand as someone that has had to do that before.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been super fun getting everything started here, but I need to step away for a little bit.
Yeah, thank you for everything, Jonas. You're always welcome to hang out here, and I think you've done a great job making it clear what goes on in the role. So, Rajula, congrats, welcome, thank you, all of the above.
Yeah.
Feels scary.
Yeah. A field promotion, I think is what that's called. And Jonas, maybe it's worth talking about. I haven't dug into internal comms. I think the to-do filled framework was out there from Paris's first take on it. But especially since you're learning how much time it takes and what the attention is, if you could PR in any lessons learned so that Rajula has it and future people have clear expectations, that would be a fantastic takeaway, a good final hat tip, if you could.
Yeah, absolutely. I did update the role handbook there a while ago, so everything should be in there. But yeah, I'll make sure it's updated.
Okay, cool. Love it. Thank you. Great. Next up, we had some movement in the Slack infra. We were trying to get some space for a bot so that we can kind of internally communicate a little faster. Things automate the obvious parts of this. I saw some motion on that from, I don't know what it is, from Jeffrey, and just want to see, Rajula, if you saw that and what we can do to support you on that, and also, good next steps. We've got something moving.
I've actually updated it in the discussion session. The work is in progress. I'm porting it to Golang.
Oh, you are porting it to Golang? Yeah. All right, cool. Well, when you need a beta tester to break it, it's kind of one of my favorite things. So send it my way. I'm great at breaking stuff. Okay, cool. And last but not least, in big wins, Kaslin, tell us about your blog post.
Hello.
Hey.
Yep. So I don't know what else to say about it, but you all looked over it a couple weeks ago. But the blog post on SIG Windows is up. It goes over a little bit about what it's like to run containers on Windows and what Kubernetes on Windows is like, and then goes over what the org does and what it needs in terms of contributors. So it's fun.
That's awesome. I mean, it's an absolutely textbook way of, how we work with the SIGs to add some value by highlighting what they do and then adding a storytelling narrative on top of it. So way to go, Kaslin, and congratulations.
Yeah, good job, Kaslin.
Also, way to
Nice
get the
work.
bonus points on, she drew the pictures in this post and we can't love it enough because they're just so cool. So yeah, just another
Well
hat
done.
tip there.
So glad you all like it.
Maybe like a quick moment. I guess you can think about it a little longer, but before the end of the call, it'd be interesting. Any sort of reflections on the process? The good, the bad.
Sure, I can think about it.
Yeah.
And I still have to put the questions that I used when I interviewed the SIG co-chairs up somewhere. We discussed that, and there's an issue open for it, and I still haven't done it. But I also noticed that there's another set of example questions that someone put up on the larger issue in the comments. There's a link to it. So yeah, I've been thinking about what to do with that, if we should just keep it in a Google Doc or if we want to put it in the repo like we were talking about. But
sounds good. Yeah, I think if we get to some good baseline questions, they'll be pretty evergreen. So I'd feel good either with them getting right into the repo.
Paris votes for repo.
Repo.
That's always reassuring when I'm aligned with Paris. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we'll do. I'll put a note.
Love it. Awesome. Very, very cool. So going around the horn, any updates? I've got plenty of items in the discussion. So I'm gonna move a couple of the discussion items on my mind a little lower and let people kick it off. So APAC updates, Piyush, you got some stuff going on you want to tell us about?
Yeah, I guess I have put that in the Slack as well. Just wanted to know any final comments on what we are going ahead with. Meet our contributors for APAC. We have the form ready. If anyone has any additions or anything you want us to modify or you want to change something, please let us know. We would love to do that.
Very cool. Yeah, I just want to throw out, I really appreciate that you put everything as optional. That way people can choose which things to respond to and you can find a narrative that way.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we still don't know how people are going to react to that. So we just want to try out and whatever people are comfortable with, just fill it out and we'll see how community catches that, right? We can basically iterate and change things over the time once we have some data.
Fantastic.
And another thing is, this was just, I was wondering if that could be something that can be done, right? So I see the tweets that are going from our KTS contributors handle, right? Those are mostly US-centric time, right? And that's mostly, I mean, of course, that's okay. I'm just saying, could there be a way where you can schedule those tweets at a better APAC or EU time zone, right? So that you can get a little better engagement, if there is a way.
So what is the offset exactly? How many hours are we talking about between West Coast and India time?
That would be huge. I mean, that's gonna.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a math problem, right? That's all. We got to figure out what is the right overlap. That's all.
Sure.
That's
So
gonna be almost 8 to 10 hours kind of a thing.
Yeah.
totally, yeah. I think the larger question I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that like, how do we schedule tweets that are time zone specific? You know, our current request strategy is to say like, if you'd like to tweet in a certain time or message at a certain time, but I think that very easily get lost in the wall of text that we have there. So I get it kind of brings us back full circle to the question of where are we with like either the GitHub action type project for tweets.
So Rajula's got an update on that. If Rajula, you want to chime in here?
Rajula is the man today.
Yeah, he's on fire this week.
Yeah, so I've looked around the tool we're going to use for the tweets. So the tool currently supports tweeting the usual normal text tweets. It also supports scheduling of tweets, but it's a specific schedule. You can't have multiple schedules. It doesn't support adding media or polls. Those features are still in progress. But yeah, we like Chris wanted, we can have some upstream contributions from our side for the specific tool and then use the new release.
Yeah, so if we wanted to, so Rajula and I had a discussion about, right, like, do we want to fork it and build in our own hacks and stuff? And I was like, no, hold up, let's contribute to upstream and then use the downstream product if, once it's accepted. I think that's a much better process here if we're going to go that route, as opposed to forking and going off on our own little road that then becomes incompatible with future upgrades or whatever. So yeah. But I think, MVP wise for text, we're good to go here for the tool, and we have the repo, and I think we could set it up. As far as time zone scheduling, I did some research. Thank you, Matt, for pointing me to Buffer yet again. Buffer actually has some recommended guidance. I need to find it and then paste it into this doc real quick. But essentially it's, like there's a 2-hour slot in the morning that you want to post tweets. There's a 2-hour slot in the afternoon you want to post tweets. And there's a 2-hour slot in the evening you want to post tweets. And that is not time zone specific. It is just in general, right? Between these times you want to do this stuff. So we have to think about something like that in the kind of regional sense, right? Like our early morning should be for EU, our afternoon should be for North America, our, evening should be for APAC maybe. I don't know. Maybe, that should be like the target audience. I don't know. I don't know how we manage this, to be honest with you. I think we do everything on UTC time and let it rip as far as that goes, right? Like whatever time zone we have to use per the tool, I don't think it specifies. Does it, Rajula?
It doesn't support multiple scheduling, just one specific schedule.
Well, no, I was saying what time zone? Like, do you have to pick a time zone with the tool,
so
or?
In the tool, we have to give in the UTC time zone.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. So that answers that question for us. So yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, we just got to figure out the right times, and if if we want to say, would you like this tweet in the morning, afternoon, or evening time slot? And then say right next to it, like which regions are supported by those times, I think that would make sense. Like in the form itself, right? Like we just say, here's these blocks.
I even have a suggestion for this early state that we're at, like that we can just say by definition, we're keeping a single schedule and like tweets will go out when they go out by default unless it's a special occasion and we have to schedule it. So that single schedule should have time slots in US time, in APAC time, in EMEA time. And we can repeat tweets, right? Like, or adjust them slightly and just kind of add them to the queue of posts that are going out. But the question, I don't want to confuse the two tools because they're going to be working simultaneously. We've got the Buffer thing, which is available to you and social media team, Chris. And then we have GitHub Actions, which my understanding is we're trying to open up broadly so that people can open a PR and suggest a tweet. Is that correct?
Paris is nodding her head up and down. Yes.
Yeah, that is
okay. That is correct.
Okay. And Rajula, I'm
it
really
should
glad.
be correct. How about that?
Yeah. Rajula,
sorry, I didn't know why Paris didn't unmute herself, so I just chimed in.
Well, no, that was for you, Chris. Yeah.
That's 100% right. Yeah. So and I'm not even using the buffer thing, to be honest with you, right? Like, I'll just log into Twitter directly, but that's just me. Because you can do scheduling through Twitter, but the nowadays at least. But the form is what I'm like trying to address, right?
Okay,
well,
we're not talking about like leave the form aside, because that's gonna change things. Like, we want to have as little friction as possible between somebody saying like, hey, I've got an idea, and like plop it here, and we could copy edit it, and it just goes into this GitHub workflow. So am I hearing that like is it possible for somebody to open a PR and it will send a tweet right now, or are we
not right now? No.
Okay.
We still got to get that set up, but yeah, we're in a spot where we can, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yes, I'm looking for the link right now, and I have it. Ta-da! It's at the bottom of that page. How the default posting times are chosen for your schedule. This is essentially the formulation of their research, basically.
Yeah, we're not looking to make a hashtag growth hacking startup here. Like,
no. Like, what I'm saying is,
it's handy information for sure.
It's good information
for sure,
and it made me think about the time zone thing in a way that,
So like going full circle back to where we have gotten very far from, PSU made a great point of like, how are we doing, region-based tweeting. The story I tell myself is like, if we have this Twitter together repo set up for us, and we have enough of us with commit access or approval access on this team, like you could approve in your time zone, it goes, and then it tweets out in your time zone. Maybe I don't understand the flow of that just yet, but I guess my hope would be that we have multiple people in multiple time zones that feel comfortable auditing the content of the social media. And we all kind of collectively trust each other to do that well, while Chris kind of gives us guidelines, or Chris and Caslin from the social media angle give us guidelines to do it effectively, but we all communally do it. I think that's the only way we'll be able to capture any of this.
Yeah, though that makes sense. The point that I was trying to make was, so see, let's say there's a tweet that about a good first issue, right? We found a good first issue, and that needs to be tweeted, right? Now, if that gets tweeted at 2 a.m. India time, right, it doesn't help the contributors from India, right? What I'm thinking, and it's just an example, right? So what I'm thinking is the important tweets, right, or the one that require engagement, something like announcing something, right? Some event or something we are announcing, that could go twice a day, right? Probably once where for the North America time, and another time when APAC and EU public are awake. Like, I'm just thinking out loud here. Maybe that.
Yeah, no, I completely hear you now. Yeah, you're saying like for the content we're sending, it's great that we send it at least once, but you want to see it like sent once per time zone.
Maybe.
By
I
default.
don't know if that works.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
I'm planning to do something like that this coming week with a blog post. I think it's probably going to be a good practice to post blog posts twice to get more visibility on them. So this coming week for the Windows blog post, I didn't post it this week because it had a typo that needed to be fixed. Once that fix went in, nice. I went ahead and scheduled that, but I decided to just schedule it for next week. So I have it going out on Monday in the morning Pacific time, and then I think it's on Tuesday actually. On Tuesday in the evening Pacific time. And I checked that it would be like morning in India. So.
Yeah, thanks for that. I somehow couldn't think of a blog example. That's a super simple example.
Yeah, the first issues actually get snapped up really quickly, so those might not be good ones to do that for, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So I think because we don't have an initial sort of product yet, you could add that sort of feature request to the umbrella post that umbrella issue. It's 4825. Add a link and I'll throw it in chat so it's easier. But Piyush, if you could describe what you're talking about and add that in there, I think these meetings are great for conversation and it's very lossy when it comes to action. So like getting stuff into GitHub issues would be awesome. But yeah, great point. I'm really glad you brought that up, and we don't want to be too dominated by a single geo, and more contributors are coming from APAC time zone than ever before. So awesome. Any other thoughts on that? Okay. Cool. We got a bunch of other stuff happening. So Rajula, could you walk us through what's going on with the work in progress on the communication bot next?
Yeah, so we got an update from Slack infra. So they want us to write it in Golang and also use secrets for our Twitter API keys. So I'm doing it. I'll try to get a beta up by the next meeting so we can have a review on it. So besides that, yeah, so like I told, I've tested the Twitter tool. So it did not take much time to set it up. So I guess with the new repo, with appropriate pull request rules, we should be able to get it going sooner, yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Yeah, just add us in Slack, like at the contributor comms when you want us to start taking a look at it and testing things. Yeah. I'd happily do that. Thank you for being our one-person army when it comes to test and config. Cool. Nothing happened. Okay, so next up is something I added. I call it a test case because Paris used our template and it kind of hung out for a while. And I considered that just an acknowledgement that like we made a new template. We didn't want to hard code any individuals in there because we try to think from a team level, not from an individual level. But then it didn't meet the requirements of the community member. In this case, it's Paris, so it's kind of okay. But if somebody in a different group used this, I would feel like, oh man, we fell short from the expectation we set. So I just wanted to take a minute, for all of us to take a look at this issue. It's based on the template, which is a lot of information. It's good information, but it's a lot. And then it kind of sat out there. So we're in this place where we didn't want it to automatically assign an owner because that would be hard coding an individual. But then we're stuck with something like who's going to be able to keep track of these issues that pop open. I don't know. This is maybe where, like, Bob, I know you got some other stuff going on. If you can tag in and listen in here, I'd love your insight. But Jonas, if you could dive in.
Yeah. So I saw this come in. I pinged Paris in Slack and asked to say, hey, I asked, can you ping me when this is ready to go out? And then after that, it kind of fell. I didn't get a ping back as far as I know. It was when I looked at the draft, and when I look at the draft right now, it still says work in progress. So it kind of fell between us. I should have followed up. That's on me, absolutely. And I think, I definitely think we should have a better way somehow.
What's the thing that's still labeled as work in progress?
So if you check out the issue that came in, the link, the first draft still says work in progress.
Yeah, so I decided to send it because the thing that I encountered with this issue is that there was a lot of people that were in back of me that were also changing the comm. And then by that time hit, it was already past July 1 and I just needed to get it out the door.
Yeah.
So I don't know how in the future, because I have a feeling this is going to come up with steering many more times, where we need, like, especially steering committee elections coming up in 3 weeks, code of conduct committee elections coming up in 3 weeks. We need some kind of process where I can put in some like minimal information.
Yeah.
I feel like this was a lot.
It's too much.
Then like, it's almost like somebody needs to come and consult with us and then almost like assign people things. Cause like I was midway through the issue myself. I mean, hell, I half wrote the issue. So I was like midway through the issue realizing like, oh wow, this is a lot. That's why I was like, oh wow. I was like, oh wow, this is a lot. And this is actually a little even, it's not even necessarily cut. It's not even cut and dry either. Which a lot of the governance stuff is going to be. Divya had ironically reached out to me about something else. And that's when I wrangled Divya, like, hey, Divya, you love to write governance articles. And Divya's on the line now. So that's why I just kind of started like plucking things a little bit. And then the problem with steering was we had to ship that ASAP because technically working group annual report started on July 1st. So we needed some kind of communication that like alerted people that this was going on so that we weren't going into their meetings and people were like, why are you here? So I'm trying to think of like a lighter weight process that would help kick off the process, but then not necessarily like be burdened on Jonas to wait for people.
Yeah. So
that's why I'm like, I was trying to think of that. There was just so many people going on in the background. And that's why it was just like trying to, because I was like thinking of, okay, I'm going to update Jonas when we're ready to go. So I was like, when we're ready, because like Jonas was just like, tell me when you're ready and we'll hit the button kind of thing. And I was like, great. But in the background, it was like, no, one more thing. No, one more thing. No, one more thing. You know how it is. Like,
of course.
So then by that time, it was like January 2nd or July 2nd. Yeah, I know, right? Time's weird. July 2nd. And then we're already blown on the date. And then I was just like, whatever, I'll hit the damn button just so I don't bother Jonas with hitting a button. And then, yeah. So the other thing too is I also needed kind of help when I was filling out the issue. Again, I was trying to take myself out of it, thinking like, okay, this isn't me. This is somebody else that's filling out this issue. I was also concerned with like my timeline. So I felt like the consultation could actually help with that. Because I knew the timeline in my head, right? But I was trying to figure out from you all, because I don't necessarily, again, I don't know how you work. So I was like trying to like kind of stumble around with the best deadlines to give y'all too, because they weren't necessarily, in stone. So not sure how we can make that better. And I did this one on purpose. Like I gave Matt a heads up, like, and I even told Bob, like, this is definitely going to go to the wayside, but this is exactly why we're dog fooding this. I definitely think there needs to be folks auto assigned to that issue, because I was assigning myself because, again, I know you. So it's just my take there. But nothing, in my opinion, went wrong. Like, because I already knew how a lot of this is done. So, of course, we just did the thing and shipped the thing and everything's fine. But I'm just kicking it from okay, this person doesn't know us state.
Totally. Yeah, this is all information gathering. There's no one here that did something wrong. But it's definitely something that, like, from a system point of view, from our community point of view, it's not gonna work. And I think I wrote most of the edits on this, and I feel no shame in saying, like, it's not gonna work, so let's do something that will work.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I'm like, even if it was just like a simple, like, maybe if we cut out half of it and it's just a simple, like, somebody wants to talk to us, right? Like, I mean, and like, obviously there's some other like identifying information, like maybe they definitely, you know, we know they want to tweet, we know that they want to X, Y, Z, but that's pretty much it, and it stops there.
Yeah. So the thing that really struck me about this, and thank you again for doing this, was like you're still in like this phase where you needed copy editing support, which is like where I would have loved to been the assignee and tag in and help kind of groom copy as it happens. And we set up some time outside of regular meetings to do that. That was something that came to mind. And the other is that like definitely noticing that most communication after the initial hit, like it just happens point to point between people, and the GitHub issue just kind of becomes this, you know, not clear what the next steps are type, you know, artifact. I don't know how much we can do about the latter, but on the former, I've been trying to think towards like what does lightweight look like, and the right expectation setting for somebody that like, hey, like we're here. It takes a minimum of a week to go from X to Z. I don't know. Yep. But yeah.
Maybe like the shadows, like that's the kind of that could be like a part of the shadow role too. Like the shadows the shadows get auto assigned, and then the shadows can help triage, bring it to the meeting kind of thing, and keep things going that way. That's how we've done it in a couple other groups not affiliated with marketing within Kubernetes, where it's like that's a part of that shadow job is the triage element. I know it doesn't sound wonderful for shadows, but at least I think the reasoning behind that on some of the code side was because it actually got them used to some of the stuff that they were going to be making decisions on as leads. So you've got that kind of context, if you will, as you're growing into the role. So that could be an option too, if folks want to build that into some of that shadow component stuff. Is like, because I know right now some of the questions are like, so what do I do again as a shadow? So that could be one idea. And it would also help, like, I mean, in Jonas's case, Jonas definitely did ping me on Slack, and I have 400 million Slack DMs. So it's just like, I like, as soon as he pinged me, I was like, yes, I need to get that to Jonas. And then like 4 hours later, I was like, already like Jonas DM'd what, like so yeah, like including that too, like making sure that we document too on the issue, I think is super important too.
Word.
Yeah, I think yeah, that should have been done. Absolutely. I should have just gone in there and said, hey, talk to Paris on Slack.
Yeah.
She will ping me when this is ready.
Yeah. And that keeps the poster honest, in my opinion. So yeah, like, and then I can be like, oh, I'll go back to Slack and still have the combo there, kind of thing.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah, totally fine.
Yeah.
What was that noise?
that was me. Sorry.
I didn't know if that was like a fancy mute button.
I didn't know if that was like a very maniacal, high-pitched laugh or a robot or just, I don't know.
Oh, it's an app. It says, yeah. I'm complete.
Cool. Okay, so one other idea I wanted to throw out there in regards to this is like maybe just having literally a one-liner, like, what do you want to send out? And like, just that is the fundamental question. And like we have the expertise to say like, oh, that really makes sense as a post, or that makes sense as a tweet, or we'll do all of the above. Like it's asking, people can't triage the way we can triage on that front. So that was the first thought I had. And the second one is like, could we ask them to set the expectation of what they need next? Like, please at the best person for the for what you need next, and like at X people for copy editing, X, Y people if you need to send this out ASAP. I thought that might be a way to not assign it, and maybe we can just direct people to our page where we list out members, because we'll keep that up to date. and say like, hey, please check here and at these people. I just didn't know if that would hit home for people, but it seemed like a good way of not having to have the same code everywhere of like who's in what group. We can just keep our front page up to date and people can come to us. Thoughts? Feedbacks? Plot holes? M. Night Shyamalan twists? No. Okay.
Maybe ping contributor comms?
Yeah, that's...
Because that should hit everyone.
So I love that as like a good, I don't know what to do next. But I guess I am hoping that people will know whether they're like, yeah, I need some help writing this, or I need some help just getting the message sent. Because if everyone, I kind of go back to that idea of like, if everyone's in charge of it, no one knows who's gonna be in charge of it.
Yeah, I guess pinging everybody as a group, that might come that, somebody is gonna think that somebody else is going to take this up.
Yeah.
We probably could have an or could there be a way of just automatically tagging people to those posts, right? Rather than the person who is actually requesting, rather than that person has to do it. Could it be part of the automated flow that, somebody just, I don't know, some automation that just tags one person from there, and we can just talk it on the Friday that, how that went, or if somebody's not available. I don't know.
Yeah. No bad ideas for sure. We're just brainstorming. So I like that. So what would that mean? I could see it being sort of like this round robin thing of like, hey, just snag somebody from our group out of the YAML or JSON object that we have that assigns contributor comms. It's like, hey, you, please follow up.
Yeah.
Other people's reactions to that? I'm seeing some, yeah, okay. So maybe we're hitting the tail end of that. I think I'll shift this into an issue and just open an issue saying like, Rev 2 of the marketing request, and we can continue that conversation there. I'll tag you all after I get that out there. All right, awesome. Rolling into the back 10 minutes of our meeting. So see a bunch of amazing calendar walkthrough for email announcements. Jonas, anything to highlight there, or should we skip that for this week?
Let me check here.
Okay.
So we got the office hours next week. Are they still 9 a.m. Eastern?
Yes, and there is, I believe, a West Coast one as well now. George would be the best person to ping on that.
Yeah, I'll ping him. I think that's it for next week, and the week after that. Yep. We do have a mentoring sub-project meeting next week. Are you handling that one, Paris?
I am, I think, but Marky's been taking the reins for the most part.
Is that something that you want to put out there?
Yeah, if we could twist it too a little bit to say, like interested in planning mentoring initiatives for upstream, like, because that's kind of what the meeting is, and not necessarily come get a mentor. But yeah, we need more folks like no other. So
okay.
any kind of like about like come help us plan, I think would be super useful.
And Marky just sent out, starting today through next weekend, I will be unavailable.
So I'll probably be in the meeting then.
All right.
I will be point then.
Yeah.
Thank you. Did not see that.
Yeah, he just sent it out like 20 minutes ago. So yeah, just I'll put it on the docket to make sure that we capture it and send it out. We can send it out on Monday.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be super nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so mentoring sub-project and the office hours. And I'll talk to George about the office hours.
Awesome. Thanks, Jonas.
Sure thing.
Good, everybody. There's a ton of good tweets. Caslin has drafted up. It's just offering some minor edits that look awesome. Can you tell us about your flow there, Caslin? Like what happens next?
So currently I'm scheduling all of these up in TweetDeck. So I've been doing the calendar tweets Monday morning Pacific time before the first one on the calendar. And then the blog posts I'm just kind of putting in here. I'm putting one at, I could probably put the times on these, but I'm thinking of putting the first one at like 9 a.m. on Monday Pacific time, and then on Tuesday it's going out at 9 p.m. I could also do it on the same day. I didn't know what would be better. And then Thursday we've been doing good first issues. So I have to find a good first issue shortly before I post that one because they get snapped up pretty quickly. So you gotta just kind of find one. And then on Friday, before that, I'll have asked the people in shoutouts if it's okay for us to tweet about the shoutouts that they got. And then I include their names and say, go check out in Slack to see what they were actually being shouted out about. We've got 3 of those actually going out this week because I missed last week. I thought I'd scheduled it and it didn't go out. So sent out that one this morning. And then there were 2 shout outs with multiple people. So I separated them into separate tweets for this week.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'd throw it out there that I absolutely don't need to see like tweet times. This is more just for visibility and for any sort of help with copy editing. So
content.
One bit.
Sounds good.
Good, and we did intros of some new folks at the beginning, but it's great to have you. And Paris gave a quick intro, but wanted to see if you wanted to tell us a little more.
Yeah, hi. I'm sorry. I was like.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, I actually was searching for the calendar invite for a good 30 minutes.
That's not good for us. Okay.
And
that's not good.
I'm now.
Yeah,
I'm
now we
now
know why there are not many people. sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've now added it to the calendar, so I finally know where it is. So yes, next time I'm gonna be on time. Yeah, so basically I've been a part of the release team 1.19 and it's been crazy over there. Just jumped off that call and joined this one. I mean, started searching for the calendar invite for this one would be the better thing to say. And after that, I was actually speaking to Paris because Nikita had once told me that you guys were looking out for more people to do the storytelling bit and work on, contributor comms in general. So I just pinged Paris and she roped me in to write a blog post regarding the annual reporting process in the steering
awesome.
committee. So I managed to get that done, but I think that was due 2 days before. Yeah, it's 10 today. So yeah, it was done, and I think we need, basis the discussion that me and Paris have had, we need to interview a few more people to get like an overall, view of everyone on the steering committee. So I'm gonna interview one more person, and it should be done in the next week. I'll send it over for review. Yeah, that's about it from my.
Fantastic. Well, welcome, and that sounds really fascinating. We didn't quite make time to dive into it today, but we do try to keep a editorial calendar going. So I'll message you after this with details. But for others, here's the link to the project for that. And yeah, we can get. Is there an issue already out there for this article, or just kind of writing it on the side?
It's the same issue as the.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. What was that first?
I was going to say it's the same issue as the annual reports one. I just tagged her into that one.
Okay, cool. I'll snag that. Awesome. Yeah, that'll be great, and happy to offer some copy edits when it's ready, or just be a moral support.
Yep, I'd want all the support I can get, because this is going to be my very first blog post on the community, so I want it to be as near perfect as possible.
Love it. Okay.
It's really great, actually. Divya, you should share it with Matt. Matt can do it now. Yeah, Matt gives great advice as well.
Oh, that's very kind. Awesome. Well, thanks.
Okay.
That's great. So I'm happy to be there to connect on that front, but I think that does it for today's overall schedule. So we try to end 10 minutes early. So we're like right on schedule. Thank you all. Any last thoughts, words of wisdom, hurrahs? Okay, cool. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourself, and wear a mask. All right. Take care. Bye.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
Goodbye. Bye-bye.